Greetings, people. So, this video will talk about trucking utopia. And what does that mean? Well, utopia in the classical sense is this mythical place where everything is peaches and cream. It's like the perfect place. It's like, everyone wants to live on a tropical island where it's sunny and beaches are great and everything. That's kind of like utopia. That's utopian. Okay, we're back. That area. So, utopia thinking is like you're on cloud nine. This is the ultimate. This is the best. Doesn't get any better than that. Okay, that's utopian. And we see this within trucking. It's like drivers want the ultimate truck. That's kind of like utopian thinking. Or, the carrier you're with, or who you're driving for, that's not good enough. There's always somewhere else that's better. If the grass is greener somewhere else, that someday you're going to work at the perfect carrier. That's utopian thinking. It in reality is, it doesn't exist. It really doesn't exist. Your mind thinks it does. You just haven't tried hard enough. You haven't been lucky enough. You haven't taken the right steps yet, although you plan to. And then you'll reach this utopian place, this mythical place that everything's perfect. Everything's peaches and cream. It's a tropical paradise for you as a truck driver. You have the perfect truck, the perfect carrier. Everything is just absolutely 100% exactly how you wanted it. And it doesn't exist. So I think you have to put things in perspective. What would actually be ideal is, for me, you define this however way you want. For me, a utopian setup would be you're in good health and you have strong finances. Now, if you lived in Texas, that would be a bonus, But if you lived in Oklahoma, that would probably take away from it. but if you lived in a crappy state, you need to make a move to Texas or a place that's really beneficial for you and your business. But other than where you physically live, utopian might be a state of mind and how you feel. So if you're in good health, you're going to feel great. If your finances are strong, you're going to be mentally strong. You're not going to worry about anything. You're going to be able to handle whatever comes up, whatever challenges come up. You're on the right track for growth. Your finances are going to continue to improve year over year over year. So this is probably as close to utopian as you're going to get. Now, you can make minor tweaks in your equipment or your carrier. You see guys changing carriers for 5 cents per mile. That's really not going to be significant. You jump from a Cascadia to a Peterbilt or a Mack. Those are minor adjustments. We're always working towards a more perfect solution, a more ideal environment. You may move from one state to another. That is you reaching for improvement. Whether it's your environment, whether it's your health, whether it's your finances, so that you can get closer and closer to utopia. But you never reach utopia. That's the thing. Utopia doesn't really exist. It's an idea that you could never achieve. So when you hear guys talk outlandishly about the perfect truck, the perfect carrier, the perfect this or the perfect that, that's utopian thinking. They think they can achieve it, but I would suggest that instead of looking externally for achieving this happiness, this utopian. Okay, we're back. So instead of looking externally, I would suggest you look internally. You know, instead of looking somewhere else for this utopia, you create it within yourself. You get healthy, you get wealthy. And I think if you did those two things, you would be very, very happy. And then, you know, you can look at moving to a state that you would thrive in. You know, some states are just awful. You know, so I think Texas is a great state to do business. A lot of truck drivers like Texas. No taxes on your income. You know, very business friendly state. That's kind of where you need to be. Thinking, you know, if you're in a blue state, you want to think about moving to a red state. But other than physically moving, think internally about getting healthy and getting wealthy, and that's your trucking utopia. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Go watching. We'll see you on the internet.